police officers, lights flashing down here. I think I'll go straight. I got no reason to go rushing home. Rushing home. I'm not gonna go rushing home. I'm gonna go rushing home. When I was a kid, there was a postmaster. Happened to be the scoutmaster also. And his name was Page Pinnell. Mr. Page Pinnell, postmaster Page Pinnell. Also a deacon at the First Baptist Church. Had a son my age, and we were in scouts together. Page became a photographer, not the son, not the postmaster. Not sure whatever became of him. I know he went out west and became a professor, but I don't think he has a web presence of any sort. But the whole point of telling the Page Pinnell story is Mr. Pinnell took time to enunciate every word that he said, no matter what the conversation, no matter whom, he would know. No matter who he was talking to, no matter what about, he enunciated. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but my dad would get mad at me when I would talk fast, and he would say, "Please enunciate like Mr. Pinnell." So when I found myself with Mr. Pinnell, I found myself listening more to his enunciation than what he was saying. I don't think I ever got in trouble for not listening to him, but I was more worried about how I pronounced, how I enunciated my sentences, like Mr. Pinnell, than I was about what he said. He might have given me the secret to life at this point. I don't know if he gave me the secret to life. All I know is if he told me, it was perfectly enunciated. So what's the lesson here? Balance. Balance. I wonder if my father had said, it's really important that when Mr. Pinnell says something, that you take it with two views. One is, make sure you take time to listen to him because his pronouncements are quite amazing. He has wonderful things to say, and he says them in a perfectly enunciated way. And perhaps because he takes time to enunciate properly, there is greater value to what he has to say. There may be greater value to understanding it. I must enunciate. You must listen to my enunciation, but you must value that of which I speak. The opposite also holds true. If I don't enunciate properly, accurately, don't worry about it. What's more important is the value of what I say. I guess maybe that's the lesson. It's okay to enunciate properly if you have something valuable to say, but worrying only about the enunciation, the proper form, the proper method, has no value if what you're saying is not important. Probably applies to photography too. It doesn't matter how perfect you are in technique, that everything balances, that the lighting ratios are correct, you've got the proper lens, proper exposure, you got the proper lens setting, your f-stop is narrow or enough to give you narrow depth of field, or is big enough to give you more depth of field that you need, or you've got the right shutter speed, all that technical stuff, all that enunciation has no meaning if the photographs don't say anything, if the photographs aren't important. So I guess studying all the technical aspects of good photography may make you a technically proficient and a well-enunciated photographer. But the question then becomes is, what do your photographs look like? What's the content? What are you trying to say? How emotional are they? Do they express you? Do they express the storytelling? Do they express the subject? Are they expressive? Or are you technically proficient and artistically lame? All right, I'm home. Enough about Paige Pinnell. I got to go and look up Paige Jr. and see what he's up to. There was a time in our youth where we diverged, and I went in towards the news business. Don't know which way that would be. I went in towards the news business, and he went into the art. There's not a right or wrong in that. There's just a difference. We did go different ways. I ended up in newspapers, wire service most of my life. He ended up in academia, as best I can understand. I'm going to go look it up when I get back in the house and see just what the heck I can find out about Paige. All right, well, I'm back after this morning's run out to take pictures. I did a little more research on Paige Pinnell. Like I say, I hadn't talked to him or been with him on the web much for about a year or more, and I learned today that he had died in March of this year. Paige and I were born about 2 weeks apart in 1944. We were pretty much up until adulthood good friends. Hung out in the Boy Scouts together, our dads hung out together, families were really close friends. I hate to see Paige gone. When I started the newspaper business, we kind of diverged, went different ways. He went into the art business, I went into the journalism business. We really didn't talk a lot after that. There was some disagreement as to which one of the two of us was doing the right thing. And I think for the two of us, each one of us did the right thing for ourselves. And that was the really important part. I will certainly miss Paige, even though I haven't seen him and talked to him in a long, long time. He was always a strong part of my life as a kid. Him and his dad, and the enunciation. His name was Paige Pinnell. He'll be missed.